Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Divine Feminine Healers podcast. Today is just going to be a full energy update because there is so much happening astrologically if you haven't heard already. So, we just had our full moon in Aquarius this past Monday, August 19th, and this also coincided with a blue supermoon. And a supermoon means that the moon is closer to the earth, and so therefore the moon looks bigger and it looks brighter. And what we can know from an energetic standpoint is when it's closer to us, we're going to feel its effects even more. So it's just more amplified and pronounced. Now, what's so interesting about this full moon is that pretty much every planet is affecting it in one way, shape, form, or another. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it's just the full moon that is kind of setting on its own, but there's a lot of other different aspects that are happening here. So how we can be experiencing this is feeling a little bit of inner chaos right now, feeling like we're being pulled in a lot of different directions. We can feel highly emotional. We can feel like we're kind of a little ungrounded right now. So if you're in that place, you're not wrong. Your feelings are totally valid. So I'm going to begin to parse out each of these energies. Now, there's so much happening. I'm probably not even going to be able to cover the depths of all of it, but I do want to bring out the main points that are occurring right now. So Mercury has been in retrograde since August 4th and will continue to be retrograde until August 28th. Now, Mercury started in retrograde in Virgo, which is the goddess of purification and cleansing. A lot of the beginning half of Mercury retrograde was about clearing and making space. And I emphasized this in my first energy update that the energy is going to be chaotic later on in the month. So it's extremely important that you create space now and ground so that you have that to fall back on when things are feeling like there's changes that are happening. So wherever Virgo is in your natal chart is probably where you felt called to do a lot of cleanup work. For me, it was in a lot of areas of my life. Cleaning up diet by doing a cleanse. I think food, especially for a lot of healers, is such a great initial way to start to clear space because you get so much more in tune with your mind, your body, and your spirit. And that serves as our conductor, being able to go towards our manifestations and know how to receive intuitive messages. So for a lot of us, we may have felt called to do a cleanse in these past couple of weeks. I also cleared out my whole closet and I gave away so many clothes, and then I cleaned out my bathroom. Like once I get started on something, I don't know if you're like me in this sense, but I just can't stop. And I cleared and I cleaned for like 3 hours, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I live in an apartment in Los Angeles, so it really was a lot. And the feeling when I woke up the next day and now just being in my apartment, in my room, and it's so clear and I know where everything is and it's simplified, there's no greater feeling. So that was what the medicine is called for these past couple of weeks. Now, on August 14th, Mercury retrograded back into Leo. It was in this position July 19th. So if you can look back in your calendar or your journal and kind of see what you were experiencing then, those are similar themes that are coming up now. Now, Leo, this is an energy that we've been really familiar with the past couple of months because we've had the sun in Leo, we had our moon in Leo. And so it's the sign of strength and courage, but truly, and confidence, but truly this inner confidence for Leo, it comes from connecting with your heart's truest desires. Leos have really, really big hearts. That's why they're known for being kind of grandiose, but it's just because they love so big and they show their love in like very big ways. So right now, this Mercury retrograde is highlighting following your heart's truest desires. And for a lot of us, that's going to be tied to what we're wanting to share and what we're wanting to bring to the world, and really cutting out all the bullshit that does not have to do with it and getting really clear on that thing that really stirs up our heart, no matter what society thinks of it, no matter what this person thinks of that, no matter how much self-doubt or of an imposter we think in the process. We now need to connect to that part of ourselves and we need to start sharing it. and letting ourselves be visible in it. Leo is all about visibility. It's all about being on stage and allowing our voice and our power to be seen. So just start to notice already, where is that highlighting for you in your life? Where are you kind of hiding? You're a little scared to share your voice and your power, and where can you share that just a little bit more? Now, boundaries is a huge thing that's coming up right now, because as you've done all this great clearing work, it feels really good, right? It's like, oh, I did it, I got to it. But then the real work begins, because all of your past obstacles and challenges of needing to put more things where that space was created, so to speak, are coming up again. So let's talk in like very generic terms. Let's say you just cleaned out your closet and now you want to go buy new things and put it exactly where you cleared out that space. Or let's say that you kind of did a little bit of cleanup work in your relationships, but now you're feeling like a little bit lonely and you want someone to fill in that space. So it's super important being comfortable with the space that you have right now and knowing that there's something new that's going to be coming in and trusting that. And also having the strong boundaries not to allow energy in that is not conducive to your heart's desires. So for some of us, this is going to be relationships. For other of us, it's going to be really cognizant of what opportunities we're allowing in our lives right now that's not going to drain our energy and make us feel cluttered like we did at the beginning of this retrograde cycle, but how it's going to keep us clear and in alignment with our heart's truest desires, so we can move forward and actually attract that new life and future version of ourselves that we are moving towards. Now, this full moon lands in Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, so it has a lot to do with hard work and effort. Aquarius is not new to these themes. Aquarius is also a very creative sign, and it's an entrepreneurial sign. So as entrepreneurs, which a lot of you who listen to this, I know you are constantly coming up with creative solutions for your business, because there's constantly obstacles and challenges that come up on your path. And that's truly what separates an entrepreneur that stays in their business and not, is being able to find this inner sense of resiliency and coming up with creative solutions. So if you've been trying the same solution to your problem over the past couple of weeks, this full moon in Aquarius is asking you to see it in a different way and in a different light. Now, to be able to see it in a different way and a different light, you don't have to go through it alone. Our challenges from the ego perspective make it seem like I'm the only one going through this. No one else is doing it. I feel so ashamed to have this problem still. I feel so ashamed to be where I'm at right now. But the truth is, when you connect to the people that know you for who you are and the people that love and support you and want the best for you, you realize that you are not alone in your challenges and your obstacles. And you realize you are connected to the collective, which is a huge other part to Aquarius energy, is connecting to the collective experience and connecting with your community right now. So this full moon is for you to explore, what is that challenge keeping you from your current vision and your current manifestation right now? And how are you moving forward differently than you did in the past? What were you doing in the past that just didn't work anymore, and why? And now, knowing what you know, how can you move forward? And part of this is going to be relying on your community and relying on the collective experience to move forward. Now, there are a lot of other planetary planets that are affecting this full moon right now. First, we have Uranus, which was square the sun and the moon. And Uranus is a planet of sudden changes, sudden revelations, evolutionary shifts. And because it's square with the sun, which is our identity, this is going to be like really shifting to our whole world and our whole landscape of how we feel the moon, and then, like how we see ourselves, the sun. So this may be inner revelations that you have from just being able to kind of reflect on this full moon and all these planetary transits. And it also may be revealed in your life. There may be changes that come up. Now, Aquarius is also, it's depicted by this goddess that has this basin that's pouring out something. And the metaphor here is that the goddess surrenders and is able to let go of something in order to let and create space for something even greater. So this is such the theme right now because this Mercury retrograde is so significant to this full moon. You've cleared away so much space. You've cleared away what was good, what was fine in your life in order to create space for something great, something that is beyond even your wildest dreams. And so that is also the medicine right now. If something happens where something gets taken away from you, being able to trust that this is happening because there's something even better on its way. Another two planets that are having quite a significant influence right now is Jupiter square Saturn. And this is because these are the two biggest planets and we feel these planets the most. Now, if you recall back in December 2020, if you follow astrology, there is a lot of talk on the Great Conjunction. And this just meant that Jupiter and Saturn were in the same sign, and it doesn't always happen like that. And if you looked outside at night, it was so beautiful. You saw these two twinkling lights out there. It was awesome, right? Now, what's interesting is that Jupiter is now square Saturn. So if these two planets were in the same sign, think like side by side buddies, they're now like facing each other and they're like opposite poles of in orbit of one another. So there's some similar themes that are coming up from December 2020 to now. I don't know if you've been journaling since then or if you have a calendar you can look back in. I did some digging. I actually listened back to my podcast back in December 2020 and I got some great insights on what I was doing and going through during that time. And I made some crazy connections for how it's related to what I'm going through right now. So that could be a really good area to explore right now, to self-reflect and see what are the similar themes. And in general, this is going to have a lot to do with how we want to share our spiritual gifts with the world. Because Jupiter is very much this planet of connecting to our spirituality. It's connecting to who we are as healers and leaders and learners and teachers. It's the guru planet. It's the teacher planet, but in a very like soft and expansive and abundant way. And Saturn is also a teacher, but kind of like that harsh teacher that you didn't like when you were in school, but then after you loved and you really appreciated for everything that you've learned and who they made you be. Jupiter is kind of like that soft, squishy, like preschool teacher that just like did everything nice. And then Saturn is like that hard math teacher that you learn to love in the end. So both are teachers and both want the best for you to grow into your highest evolvement, but they have two different ways of getting you there. Jupiter is very expansive and abundant and all about connecting to your spirituality and these higher ideals. And Saturn is going to teach you in ways of hard work and discipline and reality. So there's something being highlighted here with these two themes. And for a lot of us who are light workers and starting to step into our gifts, something is being revealed here about that, of something that came up in December 2020 when you first discovered, maybe that's when you first discovered you wanted to be a healer or you're first interested in a certain modality. Something else is being revealed right now pertaining to that. Then we also have Mars conjunct Jupiter. So this is really amplifying Jupiter's qualities right now, but with Mars, because Mars is also in Gemini, which is kind of like a very impatient, erratic placement to be in. And I only know this because I have Mars in Gemini natally. And if you've been feeling irritated or if you're feeling like you're getting mad and just kind of being a little bit petty about things, it's that Mars conjunct Jupiter kind of like pushing this right now. So I've been feeling this. I felt it especially on the full moon yesterday, like the slightest thing could just like set me off and put me in a just period of rage, or I don't know. And I knew it was so petty at the time, but you know when you cling to something, you just like can't let it go for a second. So if that's happening, that's that Mars energy, and you can work with that Mars energy. So you know how to release that excess energy built up. I went for a really long run. I did a breathing exercise that really helped to get and shake out a lot of that energy. I was able to talk to a friend. Like there's so many practices that you have in your arsenal that you can use to bring more of that cooling effect to that very fiery outburst type of energy that's happening right now. And it's also impulsive. So it kind of feels like okay, when is this opportunity? When is this vision going to come to life? I am sick and tired of waiting. It's that like little teenage child that like wants to get out and rebel and doesn't want to stay put anymore. So working with this energy right now may be the medicine for some of us. And like I said, those practices of being able to release that charge is super important. And then coming back to understanding the bigger picture here, because Mars kind of just like wants that quick, instantaneous fix, rather than it needs to kind of sometimes take a couple steps back, see the bigger picture of what's actually happening here, and take a pause before like making any impulsive actions, like starting an argument or something like that. All right, so those are the main ones. There is even more, and I don't want to go into it because that already feels like a huge buffet of planetary transits that are happening right now, and there's a lot for you to just work with in that sense. So if you're feeling like kind of stuck, my advice to you is to do more clearing or to set firmer boundaries on what you've already cleared, because that's what's going to be non-negotiable in order to move forward towards whatever is coming. And there is a lot of change coming on the horizon. Like a lot of us are going to have really big breakthroughs in these next couple of weeks, especially when Mercury goes retrograde August 28th. I think we're going to start to see a lot more forward energy, but it's only going to come from a place that's when you're really clear. So if you're feeling all cluttered and if your energy is displaced in all these different places, things are not going to have space to land. I always say this. So keep your energy super clear right now and have really strong boundaries around that. And again, it's a time to get really clear on what your heart's truest desires are. So if you're having a hard time letting go of things, think, is this serving my highest purpose to hold on to it, or does it serve me more to let it go? And that is where you're going to get your answer right now. All right, everyone, that is all I have for you today for all the energies that are happening. I hope that is helpful for you. If you want more personalized healing right now, I offer one-on-one intuitive healing sessions. These have been so fun to do. I've just started doing these back up again a couple of months ago, and it's the best because in these intuitive healing sessions, I administer the Reiki energy. So I break up energetic blockages and restore your energy back to feeling like you again and your true authentic self. But even then, I go deeper and I'm able to ask your guides what you need to hear right now. And from that space, so many beautiful messages come through, and they also show me who you are as your highest self, which is the greatest gift ever. I get to see you in your fullest and your greatest version and share that vision with you. And nothing feels better than being seen as our highest self. That's why I love healers, and I go to healers all the time for this reason. There's nothing better than when someone can really see you for who you are. So if you've been feeling disconnected from that vision of yourself and you're wanting some spiritual guidance, or, you know, if you do this work all the time and you're just needing someone to help guide you, like I have to go to healers all the time, even though I'm constantly tuning into my guides, because there's always something that I could be missing. Sign up for a one-on-one intuitive healing session with me. I'll have that linked below in the show notes. And I promise you, these are just such beautiful sessions. You're gonna leave feeling so empowered and motivated and reconnected to your heart's desires. If you love this episode, please share it with a friend or family member who would love it too. And I would adore you if you commented, rated, and reviewed on either Apple or Spotify podcasts. Thank you all so much again for tuning in. Until next time.